Hi, and welcome back to
Inspired the Game. I'm Sean.
And I'm Lola. If you like what you see here, please support our channel by subscribing down below.
And if you've already subscribed, thank you very much for checking us out and lending us some of your time. Come for the videos, stay for the fun.
Today we are talking about the Illiterati. Now this is a Kickstarter just newly released, 1 to 5 players. It is a cooperative survival word game. Now we wound up with 2 copies. So this is a Kickstarter that we have recently received, and we've been given a copy from the publisher to review. So because we wound up with 2 of them, that means we are going to have another giveaway, which we're really excited about. The details of how to enter will be down below. It will be pretty much like, subscribe, and comment, this time with #words.
Before we get into our review, why don't you join us over for an overview and we'll spell out how to play. The secret organization, the Illiterati, have taken over the world and are trying to spread illiteracy by destroying books. You and your fellow players, as members of the League of Librarians, are trying to preserve books for future generations. As play begins, you will each have a torch book, which you are trying to restore. There will be 3 letters in the shared library in the center of the table. Each of you will have 5 letters in front of you. At the beginning of each round, you will each get an additional 7 letters. Your mission during the round is to spell words, trying to use every single letter in front of you and as many in the shared library as possible. Your goal is also to fulfill the goal of your torched book. In this case, it is spelling words that are body parts. At the end of the 3-minute timer, the word building phase is over and you move into the bookbinding phase. The first thing you do is take any unused letters and add them into the library at the center. If there are more than 3 letters there, you're going to have to burn a letter. You flip the letters over, draw one randomly to put into the burn pile, discard down to 3 so that you have 3 letters left. If you've burned 4 letters, the game is over. Next, you check everybody's words to make sure that they actually are words and are at least 3 letters or longer. If anybody has fulfilled the goals of their book, they can now bind it by discarding those words into the discard bag. Now, the discard bag and the draw bag are pretty much the same. Once you empty the draw bag into the discard bag, this now becomes your draw bag, and this now becomes your discard bag. Once all possible books have been bound, you move on to the attack phase. Draw the top card from the Illiterati deck to see which one of the villains has appeared and what attack they are pulling on you. If you pull a villain that has already been pulled before, you stack their card on top of the previous one and you chain their attacks, newest first and then whichever previous ones to follow. Simply follow the instructions on the Illiterati attack card and then begin a new round by drawing 7 letters from the bag. It is important to note that you keep the letters and words in front of you from previous rounds, but you can pull them apart to form new words, trade letters to your fellow players, or back into the library. Once you have bound your torch book, you draw a new book, one of the waterlogged books, which has slightly different types of goals, such as anagrams or antonyms or synonyms. Once you have bound one of each type of book, you can continue drawing letters each round and helping your fellow players until everyone has bound 2 books. And then you move on to the final chapter. In the final chapter, you will draw 1 book, blue or red, and use the right-hand side as your goal that each player has to fulfill to defeat the Illiterati and end the game. So it is important to note that everyone will be working on the same book in the final rounds. So once each player has fulfilled the requirements of the final book, the game is over and you have won against the Illiterati.
So this is a cooperative survival word game. Have you ever heard anything like that? So when I first heard about this, I was immediately interested, and especially because we have kids, we have teenagers, and we homeschool as well. So I'm always looking for a good educational game. And this one sounded super, super fun.
Mm-hmm. It is aimed for 7+, so it's right in there for teaching you even basic concepts such as antonyms, homonyms, alliteration, things like that.
And at the same time, it's perfectly fun for a group of adults sitting around and playing. So to begin with, art and components, the art is really beautiful. The illustrations, they really draw you in. They're really nice and thematic. The thematicness of the game really shines through with the different books, like the burn books and then the drowned books, along with all of the little literary tidbits and really fun, amusing parts.
Yeah, some of the titles of the books are plays on famous works of literature, and even trying to figure out what they're making fun of sometimes is enough to amuse you in between turns.
Yeah, there's a lot of really fun things to explore there. I love how they have the bags, the double bag system. Makes it easier to play. So once you've finished with one, now your discard bag is now suddenly your draw bag, and it just moves back and forth like that, which is a really useful mechanism.
And they're really beautiful bags, really nice and sturdy, and they just you can feel the quality in them.
Yeah, and the cards are oversized, so they're nice size, the cards that you play with for both the books and the Illiterati. We have the deluxe edition, which does have wooden tiles for the different letters, and for whoever wins our draw, you will be getting the deluxe edition as well. So one of the things that excites me most about this game is that cooperative aspect. Now, I do not have a strength with word games. I have a strength with strategy, logic, deduction, that sort of thing. Word games, not so much. But what makes this game really neat is with the different people you might be playing with around the table, you can work with each of your strengths. So somebody who may be better at dealing with putting together words, having word problems, you can have their help. If you're better as the tactician, and then they can have your help. Everybody gets to work together. Like we're each binding our own books, but as one person is done with theirs, or maybe somebody needs a letter, it's like, oh, I could really use an E. Does anybody have an extra E or whichever? It's really nice to work together. And if I have a bunch of words that I can't make heads or tails of, I can ask for help. I can say, hey, anybody help me with another body part or whatever. And it's really, really wonderful to work together. And especially if you're playing with family and kids. And another fun aspect is the Illiterati. It adds another dimension to the game. So something like, say, Scrabble, where you're just making your words, this adds a level of adventure, a level of drama and intensity to it. So we had a round where we were working on countries, and we had an Illiterati that removed all the A's from our game, and we had a whole bunch of nice words like Mongolia and so on and so forth. And it really made it hard. There's not a lot of countries that don't have A's. So it really provides a lot of interesting dynamic to the game when you pull in all of those different hindrances that come between turns, and you never know what they're going to be or how they're going to affect you, whether it's going to take apart a word that you've been hanging on to finish your book with or not. So it adds intensity.
And the addition of having them stack and chain those attacks is also a bit of a challenge when you think, that's fine, we got past that attack, we're okay, but the next attack you end up pulling the same villain and you get that same attack, and now maybe it's another letter that is being pulled from your game, and you're at the tail end of the draw bag, and oh, when are we ever going to get our A's back? And now we're down L's as well, and yeah,
the game is not easy, and it is really challenging. Like we played it, you could play on different levels. We played it on the normal. You can play it on normal or advanced or expert. There is also a junior mode, which is nice as well. And I actually questioned if we should play on the junior mode because even on the normal mode, this seemed so hard, and it was definitely really, really challenging. So all our games we've done on the normal, and so far we have managed to win them all, and it has been a tremendous amount of fun.
Yeah, and there is a great variability, as Lola said. There's the normal mode where everything is just 2 books per player. You don't have to clear the library at the end of the final chapter. Into hard mode where it's now 4 books per player and you have to clear the library to win the game. Into legendary mode where it's 6 books per per player and you have to clear the library. All the way down to, like I said, junior mode where you don't play the Illiterati. And there's also a solo mode where you just go play it with yourself and your own word skills. And there's even a head-to-head mode if you don't want to play cooperative. So.
Yeah, so there's lots of options with that. The junior mode also doesn't use a timer and has no final chapter to work on as one last big challenge together. So there's a lot of varieties of ways to play it. We played it just the two of us, and it played fairly well. And we played it with our 16, 17-year-old daughter, and we had such a blast. She's really good with words. So I needed her at the table because she's a bit of an expert with a few things. And so it was really a lot of fun. So for families, if you've got kids especially, like this is a fantastic way to work on your spelling, to explore creativity. So it's a fantastic one for homeschoolers, to say it once again, and for just about anybody who enjoys a good word game.
And it also has that element of categories where you have to come up with words to fulfill your card, and now you're trying to convince your teammates that maybe scalp is it's a word that will fit your category. It'll fit the body parts. Maybe it's the one that fits the noun and verb. Just trying to convince, to squeeze words into that category that it might not really, strictly speaking, be part of.
I think it's fantastic the way you get to work together and work to each other's strengths. So that is, to me, real gold. So if you like word games, I don't think you could really go wrong with this if it sounds like fun to you. Check it out and enter into our draw down below. So again, just a like, a sub, and a comment with #words, and we'll do the draw in 3 weeks. Any extra details that we have will be down in the description below. Thank you so much for joining with us today.
Check out some of our other videos.
And as always, happy gaming, folks. This is a 1 to 4 player cooperative What?
5. Yeah, 1 to 5.
It's in front of my eyeballs. I don't think we have anything we have for criticisms. Extra details that we have forgot to mention will be put down in the comments below.